This is the Raydar Report. Let's get into it. You see my sports coat, my signature sports coat, let you know I'm taking it serious. Let's go. What we got today?
Drake is not that important. The reason Drake's in this is because he is a sickness in the game. It could have been any artist. It's what Drake represents. We've been saying this for months. People love Drake. They love his music. We love his music. He's beloved. He's not willing to go rip his soul from the bottom and do ayahuasca and look himself in the mirror as Kendrick had prescribed to him. On what song was that? Euphoria?
Let's get into this Ebro Drake thing. Number one, Ebro, if you guys don't know, is a mixed man. He's half black, half white. And Drake is also mixed. So this is mixed on mixed crime, and I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't know. I feel like Ebro he's pissed about something. By the way, this just shows you like Ebro grew in a house where the blackness led, and Drake grew in a house where whiteness led, right? This is the problem. So let me just tell you what Ebro's talking about, what he said about Drake. There's two things. There's hip-hop music and there's hip-hop culture. Drake is probably the biggest hip-hop music artist of all time, by far. But Drake has never played by the rules the culture had to play by, right? It's very similar to Eminem, right? I always say I love M, but M played by different rules than every other black hip-hop artist because no other black hip-hop artist can diss their mother. Tupac even said, you was a black queen, mom. Even you was a crack fiend, you still was a black queen. And our culture, not our music, we celebrate our mothers, period. So now let's get to the Drake and Ebro thing, and hopefully that makes sense to you. So what I think Ebro is trying to say about Drake is that Drake is a hip-hop music artist that feels like he has no responsibility to hip-hop culture. Every artist in hip-hop is required to grow. Like, for example, you can't talk about selling dope on your first two albums and then on your third album. How you still selling dope, bro? Like, you should be telling us how to buy the block right now. See what I'm saying? It's a natural growth that we feel when we see someone in our culture. Like, as big as Drake is, Nipsey Hussle had way more culture than him. Right? It's like, that's why the marathon store, the marathon continues, all this other stuff. So what Ebro speaking about Drake is the sickness that he brought to our culture. Here's the sickness, guys. Drake has brought a whole bunch of hip hop music fans to the table that don't understand that this music is a part of a culture. So they don't honor the rules of the culture. They don't respect the rules of the culture. So when you think about it, so now when we're talking about the battle, everybody's like, shut up, he's going to be fine. All his fans are like, they hate that we're talking about him. How fucking dare you? But no one from hip hop culture is mad. Everyone from hip hop culture is like, hold up. This nigga's breaking some rules. And I think the first thing that was the first kind of inclination of the change was the braids with the beads on it. That famous picture and it was like, this dude is 37, 38, been rapping since he was 22, and he's still acting like the kids. Then everybody else, like Ross has to grow up, Kendrick has to grow up. All these dudes have gotten wives. Well, not Ross still playing, but they've grown their business and their approach to their business. And then you start realizing from the inside, folks, what you guys are hearing is inside conversation. You start realizing from the inside the privilege Drake has and the games he doesn't have to play that everyone else has to play. And that is because Drake is a hip-hop artist. He's been a part of the culture, but he never played by the rules of the culture. So when Kendrick gives his indictment of Drake on all the diss records, starting with Euphoria, start speaking about, nigga, let me ask you a question. How many black men in hip-hop do we know don't take care of their kids and we let that shit ride without talking about it? This dude hit his kid, and it was like, I hid you from you guys. He always played by rules that we didn't play by, and we knew it. And you know who else knew it, guys? The fucking system. And you know who else knew it, guys, besides the system? Kendrick and Drake. And that is why Drake is suing. It's kind of like street code. Like, I'm going to tell you how the streets go. And you like, okay, I want to be in the streets. Let's go. Teach me how the street code go. And then I go out there, and now I'm like, yo, look, nigga, you can't snitch. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. And then you start, my mama never taught me to do that stuff. So you don't do the stuff that everybody else does. Everybody has to grow in our culture in order for the culture to grow. Music is different. Music can be immature, but we know NBA YoungBoy today is not going to be the same NBA YoungBoy in 10 years, right? You have to grow as a man. Drake was the only artist that was allowed not to grow. And I think once Kendrick called it out, it was like, yeah, hold the fuck up. He says nigga, but he's a Jew, and he's over there with them, and he's also a Canadian. So it's like he has all these other. So now we realizing, hold on, we let, and using K-Dot's word, a colonizer in. But we let him in because he talked like us. His hair was like not like pretty like those guys. He looked like a black man, but we never looked under the hood. And once we looked under the hood, and you usually start looking under the hood after time, once we looked under the hood and realized this dude's not growing. Then everybody's like, but damn, everybody else got to grow. Why he ain't got to grow? Oh, because y'all protect him. Everyone knew. And it's like that. It's like, you know, I was thinking about this morning. I was like, Drake never came. When you in the hood, and now, if you understand this, if you from the hood, if you black, you understand this. When you getting bullied outside, your mother can't come out there and fight the bully. Your mother can't call the police on the bully. That makes more bullies come after you in the hood, right? From the culture that hip-hop was grown in. So Drake has never had a situation where somebody slapped him in his face as a kid. His mother said, fuck that. We're going outside and you're going to fight that little boy straight up. It's never happened. That's why K-Dot actually said in the song, we could squabble if you want. Because he like, we could fight. We could do a fight if you want, because they come from that culture. So I think what really happened with Drake and the sickness part that they're speaking about is that Drake has allowed to pose as a black man without playing by none of the rules that other black men in hip-hop had to play by. And the difference between Drake and other people that did it, like Jack Harlow and Eminem and MGK, is that they were white people and they didn't have an inkling of black in them, so they knew they had to respect the black culture. Meanwhile, Drake said, I don't have to. I could say nigga. I can do what they do. And now, here we are, and that's why I think he's so lost. Because Drake is looking at this from a music standpoint. I'm giving you guys the best music. I've given you guys hits. We love that from you, bro. But at some point in time, you got to have a responsibility to the people that you know can't get there. It's like the marginalized. It's like you can't be at the top and not help anybody at the bottom. And once he started doing it, he started making it seem like he was doing them a favor. And then after about 5,000 features, they figured out this nigga was using all us. That's why when Kendrick called him out on Euphoria, he was like, when he on like this, and he was like, you want the thug to get the lingo, you want the 21 to get the street cred. Thug made you feel like you was a slime in your head. Like he was basically, if you an Atlanta nigga, you like, hold the fuck up. Because that's what I said. I'm like, I knew he was using us, but I didn't know everybody knew. So now the indictment is out there. So the indictment that Kendrick brought down on him, and I think that, unfairly Ebro is by calling him a sickness. Drake's not a sickness. He's just a kid that's not from the culture, that's been allowed to move through the culture like someone who is from it. And then once we caught it and called it out, he turned into more of a white man and started suing people. That's all that happened. Now let's get to the next subject. Luka Dončić Obviously, he's a great player, incredible player. He doesn't play like most NBA players. He kind of plays his own flavor, his own flair, and he's fire. Luka's incredible, but we can't act like part of Luka's success is not based on his skin color. We can't act like that. Little white kids don't love seeing if I would love to see a black man come in doing it, so why wouldn't little white kids want to see a white man doing it? It's the same concept. It's like, you can't help but to see yourself in Drake because he's half you and he's half us. It's just he was out loud to be half us when he wanted to and half y'all when he wanted to. And we caught on because y'all wouldn't have cared until we cared. So now we care and y'all are mad that we care and we just hold him accountable to every other motherfucker that rapped on the mic and said the word nigga. Because once you say the word nigga, you one of us now. You got to do what we do. And if you think you can say nigga and not do what we do, you ain't a nigga and we need to expose you. And that's what's happening now. Let's go to the next subject.